time I was single, I was 24 and the dating pool was everyone. And now it's like a shallow puddle of age-appropriate men who are old and gross, and I don't want to do that.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we will see a woman who instantly regrets ending her 14-year marriage for an office affair. Now she says she was stupid for losing a good, masculine man. We'll also talk about another 37-year-old woman who complains that the Chads left her traumatized, and now no good man appeals to her. We invite you to smash that like button and help us reach 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year to get our first plaque. That's the only support we ask of you, man. Add your grain of sand to the movement, share your experience in the comments for any man who might need it. And without further introduction, let's get started.
My husband told me he wanted a divorce. My husband and I have been married for 8 years, but we've been together 12 years. And this has never been a problem in our marriage whatsoever. My little girl is allergic to dairy, and my little boy has a dairy and gluten intolerance. Naturally, as a family, we have just gone dairy-free and gluten-free. I am a big believer that food is medicine. We have eaten organic and just more wholesome foods. Now, I've never told my husband that he needed to eat this way. And I don't care if people eat this way or not. And my husband has gone along with this the whole time. My husband came home and he had this huge bag of groceries and he set it on the counter, and I looked inside of it and there are 20 boxes of fruit roll-ups. I was so confused, and I said, why did you buy these fruit roll-ups? And he said, you know, I'm sick and tired of living this way. I don't want to do it anymore, and I do want a divorce. Listen, nobody's a prisoner here. You know, talk this out. Let's go back to therapy. I feel like this is a workable situation. He proceeded to tell me it's not, and that the next thing he's going to buy is fruit gushers. In that moment, I could feel myself getting angry. I'm going to walk away from the situation. And when I got up from the table, I woke up from my dream.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
The modern woman, there is the foolish woman who cheats on her husband or divorces him over an emotion. And there is the smart woman who understands that she has a good marriage, with only minor issues that can be fixed. This woman had a dream about it, but recognized it was a nightmare, and tells the story in a fun way. Others would have taken this dream as a warning and would have created a whole scene for the husband or blamed him for things he hasn't done. Here we see a clear example of a woman who has emotional responsibility and understands that it's just a dream. Unlike other women who want to fight with their husbands over this nonsense, using the typical phrase, if I dreamed it, it must be for a reason. You know, the same women who later believe in the zodiac, manifesting, and that universe stuff.
I cheated on my husband of 14 years and lost him forever. This is long, but it's something I need to get off my chest. My husband, 36 male, and I, 36 female, have been together for 16 years and married for 14. We have 2 daughters who are 13 and 12. About 3 months ago, I cheated on him with my coworker once, and I immediately regretted it. To be honest, I still haven't figured out the real reason why I cheated. On the surface, the reason would be that my husband was too caught up with work for a couple of months, and I felt neglected and unappreciated at times. I know that this isn't the real reason, so I'm trying to figure it out through individual counseling. I only cheated on him that one time and immediately told him the next day because I couldn't bottle up my guilt and shame. He was shocked at first, but then went on to call me the most horrid names. I deserved it. I deserved it a lot more than that. I don't even know how it got to the point of me sleeping with my coworker. It started with innocent flirting, and before I knew it, I made the worst mistake of my life by sleeping with him. I wish I'd gotten hit by a car the day before sleeping with him. I cut off all contact with my coworker and gave up my phone to my husband. I wanted to reassure him that I was willing to make this work on his terms. Whatever they were, as long as he would give me another chance. Even though in my heart I knew that I wanted another chance to prove myself, I told him that I would understand if he went through with a divorce. Anyways, I told my husband that I would do anything to regain his trust and express my sorrow and regret for having hurt him so much. My husband has always been the type of guy to give a person only one chance. Even in his friendships, if the trust had been broken, he wouldn't give the other person another chance. He said that he wanted a divorce, but then the whole quarantine thing happened and he stayed in the house for about 2 months. And
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no.
Brothers, as soon as there's infidelity, you end the relationship. There are no second chances. Here's a woman who has been married for 14 years. She will present the story in a way that makes her look like the victim, but don't be fooled. I'm saying this right now because the victim is not her. The victim is the husband. 2 daughters and 14 years of life together. This was not an unfaithful man. He was a good man. She cheats on her husband because she felt neglected. She doesn't know what happened because he was busy for a few months, and she wanted attention. The worst of reasons. She needs attention. We all know that women are emotional and make decisions based only on emotions. She knew she made that decision. This is not a case of, I didn't know what I was doing. Yes, you did know, because you had an entire plan to execute it. Now you regret it because the man you cheated with probably didn't satisfy you in bed. Now you feel guilt and regret losing your husband. And to avoid the gossip coming from someone else, you tell him yourself. But let's continue.
months and didn't proceed with the divorce. For the first month, he treated me very coldly, and the only time we talked was when it had to do with our daughters. I slept on the couch and tried to give him as much space as he needed, and only reminded him from time to time that if he ever wanted to work things out, I'd be more than willing to, and would be completely devoted to the process of him working things out. He even said some spiteful things during that month and distanced himself from me completely. During the second month, there was a change as he began talking to me again. We talked about the daily stuff and even watched movies together with the girls as a family. I felt like he wanted to try reconciling, and I was so happy. I was thrilled that there might be some chance to save my family, to save us. Eventually, through the next couple of days, I could sense us becoming friends all over again. He even invited me to sleep on the bed again. Oh, Jesus Christ. A betrayed spouse sent this story to me and told me that it was a proper atonement. Okay, so bear with me. Bear with me. A couple of weeks passed by, and we were getting along even better than ever. We were spending time as a family again and had gotten closer with each other as well. I felt really good about the way things were going, but I wish I'd suggested marriage counseling. I just didn't want to pressure him and have him think that I wanted to sweep this situation under the rug, or I was trying to influence him to not divorce me. One night, we were drinking a bit, just talking in the bedroom, and I felt a genuine connection rebuilding. It felt like we were falling for each other all over again, and it made me so happy. This is the part I regret now. I decided to make a move on him and straddled him while we were laughing at a joke. We looked each other in the eyes so naturally. I began making out with him. It honestly felt like we were 20 all over again. He kissed me back as well, but after a while, he just started crying. He told me to stop and said that he couldn't. I felt so awful because I felt like he wanted to, but didn't.
Stop it. Get some help.
It's easy for her. Everything was going well, and she hadn't had to pay for what she did. Her whole thought process was that he would forget. Everything would go back to the way it was, and they would live happily ever after, sweeping it under the rug. Women don't understand how a man thinks. A masculine man is pragmatic and stoic. He keeps his emotions in check. Like any masculine man, he tries to solve the problem. This man had to be trapped with her during the pandemic. He didn't want to turn the house into a war zone because of their 2 children. He wanted everything to flow naturally while he kept his emotions in check. This man wasn't reactive or emotional. He only let his emotions show when there was an attempt at intimacy where it hurt him, and he probably pictured her being touched by another man. Of course, he loves his wife, but as we say on this channel, a masculine man has limits and red lines. She crossed those red lines. He won't let it go because he knows that once you allow someone to trample on you, they will do it again sooner or later, especially when he was only busy for a few months and couldn't give her attention. She decided to open her legs to a coworker. Do you think it wouldn't happen again if he's not around next time?
At the same time, It broke my heart directly to see how badly my stupid decision had hurt him. I told him that I was sorry and we went to sleep. The reason I say I regret doing this is because I feel like this moment pushed him away forever. 2 days later, he informed me that he wanted to go through with the divorce. He said that he just doesn't think he could make it work even after trying for the last 2 months. I wanted to fight with him about it, but I just told him I understood. We had already decided before that if a divorce was to happen, it would be on fair terms. Sure, we'd both have lawyers and we'd agree on a lot of stuff together. He wanted to take a 2-week trip, but he would come back to pick up the girls after his trip. We both mutually agreed that he'd split the time with his girls after his trip. They would spend half of the week with him and the other half with me. I even helped him pack up his stuff, and we finished. I just bawled my eyes out and we hugged it out. After his 2-week trip, he came back and it felt good seeing him again, but I knew it wasn't the same. He just smiled and we made small talk before he took the girls. We're both really good parents and want the best for our kids. Today I got served divorce papers. It hurts so much to know that I lost my best friend because I was stupid. You were starved for attention, okay? Not stupid. Sometimes I roll over to his side of the bed in the morning and I hate how I don't feel his body there anymore. I miss his smell, his smile, his voice. I miss him filling up the entire room with his loud, adorable laughter. I miss him so much. The thing that hurts me the most is all of this is knowing how badly I hurt the person I love the most. I wish I could go back in time and undo what I did, but I can't. So now, here I am, writing about it on Reddit while crying when there's nothing that I can do about it. I wish I could let him see for himself what I genuinely feel in my heart about how sorry I am and about how I would be the most devoted wife ever if he just gave me another chance. To let him know how much I love him and that I literally would do anything for him. I fucked up the most perfect thing that ever happened to me. I wish I could get him back but I know that I lost him for good.
Exactly, you weren't stupid. You just wanted to flirt with other men because a woman, even when married, loves male attention. There's a saying, if you play with fire, you get burned. Instead of stopping the man who was flirting with you, you let him in. He made a whole plan to get you into bed. He probably told you that your husband wouldn't find out, and you accepted. Now you wish the car had broken down before you went, but you would have walked there because you wanted to be with that man. The forbidden is exciting, but you didn't like it in the end. That's why you regret it. Because if you had enjoyed it, you wouldn't be saying anything. Always remember, brothers, she tells the story. She will say it was only once, but she may have done more than she admits. Text messages, intimate photos, a few hidden things at work. So don't come with the story that it was stupid. You just like the attention from another man you found attractive, and you wanted to be with him. This is tough because this man is a good father and husband who was just busy working for his family. It wasn't years. It was a few months without attention, and that was enough for her to go to another man's arms. Never, ever forgive infidelity because when you find out, she will only say it was once. Believe me, it's never just once. For a woman to be unfaithful, she has to make an emotional investment. That means she liked that man. I doubt it was just once, especially since they work together and see each other all the time. An office affair, and once a cheater, always a cheater. Trust, once lost, is never regained, and this man did the right thing.
Accepting that you are most likely going to be alone for the rest of your life is a really hard pill to swallow. And it's not even because there's anything wrong with me or that I am not deserving. I'm just tired. I've spent most of my life recovering from men who have caused so much trauma. My physical brain cannot handle anymore. It is always in survival mode. It is always in fight or flight mode. My brain has never fully recovered from the trauma that has been caused. I meet guys and I feel like I'm constantly looking for a reason to not trust them because I have never experienced a good man before. Like I've never been in a good, healthy relationship. I don't even know what that looks like. I don't even know what to look for. I don't know what is normal. I've never experienced normal. How am I supposed to know? And now I'm 37, and every man that I meet is disappointing and doesn't add value to my life, doesn't make me happy, and I just don't want to settle anymore. How do I know if someone is the one? I mean, is there something wrong with me? I question it all the time, but I know that I'm just fucking traumatized. What does a loving man feel like? What does a healthy relationship feel like? What does it feel like when you have found your person? I've been in so many relationships, long relationships, and no one has ever added value to my life or made me feel like I was enough. And it makes me sad that I have never gotten to experience this. It genuinely makes me sad. But I just don't know if it actually exists. So I will probably be alone. And that scares me, but I am slowly accepting that this is probably my fate. And I need to learn to love myself, and I need to tell myself that that is enough, that I don't need a partner to be whole. And that is my journey right now. I'm not an expert. I am not putting expert advice into the world. This is just my journey and what I'm going through right now. And if you're going through the same, you're not alone. I don't know, maybe that's my purpose, to learn to be on my own and let others know that it's okay.
Welcome to the wall. When you hear her say she hasn't experienced normality in a relationship, it just tells me she only dates chads, men who bring nothing to the table but their seed. Instead of questioning her pattern of men, she complains about the men she finds. She talks about dying alone, not because there are no suitors, but because there are no chads in her life anymore. The men who want something with her don't give her that roller coaster of emotions that the chads used to. That's why I always say that after a woman is done with those types of men, she needs to go to therapy. She needs detoxification from the chad. Because they become addicted. They find every normal man boring. They wonder what a loving man feels like because the chad treats them badly, which deep down they like. They are masochists by nature. When they can't find those men anymore due to age, they feel traumatized. Then they wonder why the past matters. Because women like this are ruinous for any good man. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Do you think the woman who broke her 14-year marriage cheated only once? Would you forgive infidelity in your marriage? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.